What's going on, ladies and gents? Jake, aka Countdown Ended, coming to you once again from WWE's Saturday Night Main Event. We're live tonight. It is the 24th of May, 2025. I am your host, Jake Countdown Ended DeMarco, but I am not alone. I have an action-packed panel for us tonight. The one, the only, Cody Onidi 316 is here.
What's going on? I can't wait to play you. Whoa. I hear myself.
Oh, I know. You're going to be...
I'm about to sound retarded again.
Right? I know. I will fix that in the meantime, but still.
Anyway, but what was your favorite commercial of the night?
I'm telling you, there were so many great commercials. We had certainly this one. And we had this one. And we had this one, too. So they were all pretty great, no doubt about it. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Hopefully everybody in Discord is no longer hearing themselves. I should have switched it to the microphone. We'll see what happens. But all in all, we're doing a bit better tonight than we were last night. We're a bit more prepared. The green screen is ready. I am here. Cody's here. And of course, we're joined by the one, the only, the incredible, the Twitch streamer herself, my icon.
That's right.
Liz is in the house. Liz, thank you so much for joining us. Look at that. We got to go ahead and just to go ahead and get her in. But yes, everything's going well tonight. We have you guys both in the house because Saturday night's main event was pretty crazy. It was very predictable and kind of a house show, but it had some damn newsworthy moments at the end of it and throughout. So they really wanted to make a statement with this show.
Speaking about news, stay tuned at the end of the show because I got some major news I'm going to drop.
You've got some huge news for us, so we're definitely going to get into that as well tonight. Ooh. Cody's been working hard to investigate, get to the bottom of what's going on with Wrestlemania with Vegas. So he's got some huge news to report to us.
Oh, goody! I can't wait.
That's right. Oh, I saw you streaming earlier, Triple M, and then Liz was streaming yesterday. Like everybody's been just wild on the streaming circuit. He got up to the final boss of the Ultimate.
I gotta get the 1,000K, 1K followers eventually.
You're getting there. You're just hitting it up so soon. So hopefully everybody can go ahead in the description box down below. Tell Liz
all those
that
will be me, of course.
We followed her on Twitch. We're not all Cody. We're some unique viewers too. But hopefully you guys are doing good. It's Saturday night's main event, and they wanted to make this a special show. I mean, we've got NXT Battleground, Double or Nothing coming tomorrow. Yeah, that was the problem tonight. I mean, really, a lot of what we got was just this.
Well, hey, I actually got to see commercials. Y'all got to saw that.
Right? I know. We just got the in-between, but yeah, Triple M has been grinding Ghost of the Deep, trying to make the Right of the Nine passage have his free will be his own. Tomorrow we have Double or Nothing, NXT Battleground. Last night, TNA Under Siege was a lot of fun. It was definitely a B show. It was definitely not the typical thing that we review. It had that aura of televised house show, but it was just so much fun. There was a lot of good that happened on there. But there was a lot of heel heat, and then they managed to TNA a few things. So Spaz being in person, I can't wait to hear more about the tapings tonight. He's there in Brampton as TNA is recording their TV live and in person for him. So hopefully we tomorrow, we get to go ahead and hear about everything that happened with TNA. But Saturday night's main event was just commercials. Repeatedly. I mean, I know they're on NBC.
I saw so many ads for things over and over again. I was just like, I just saw this ad. Why are you showing it to me again, TV?
I was baffled by some of the stuff they gave us tonight, and at least in the order, I'm saying. The match order was confusing. John Cena not being the main event.
I thought John Cena versus R-Truth would have either opened or closed the show.
Yeah, and having it be where it was in the middle, and then having John get involved in the main. I see why they did it to return the one, the only, our favorite, Cody Rhodes.
The savior!
About time we get him back. I'm
He's had
happy to
enough
have
time at
Cody
Disney now.
return,
It's time.
though.
He's had enough vacation at Disney. It's time to get back to work.
He's let his daughter ride Space Mountain many times. It's time for him to get
Hey,
in there
you
and
do
start
know that
taking
he has a
bumps,
ride named after him at
right?
the new Epic Universal called Stardust.
I wonder how he truly feels about that one,
No,
Yeah, I
that's a
know,
good
right?
name.
Stardust pulling through on his own. I mean, it's a bit surreal to see Cody in such a place now. Still to this day, it doesn't feel
You, you know
believable
what would
at
be a dream
times.
match?
What's that?
Stardust versus El Grande Americano. Absolute cinema.
Yeah,
Book it.
absolutely. I think that would be so much fun. I like the idea that some people have been floating around about bringing back Stardust, but not as Cody, having Cody feud with a Stardust, copycat, a fake.
Got to be our
You
truth
know?
or something, right?
Yeah, catfish.
Yeah,
Somebody
Stephen
doing it.
Amell.
They've got certainly enough great people that could pull this off. And it would be interesting to see. I think it'd be a lot of fun, especially if they were on their way building to an important match and they're like, oh, you're still ignoring your history, that kind of idea. There's a lot they can do with it. But what they gave us tonight felt very run of the mill, predictable, and
and
just
commercials.
yeah, it wasn't that great. I mean, they flooded it with commercials tonight, and they really interfered in a great deal of the matches. I mean, it felt like Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker had about 6 minutes that were not completely engulfed by the entirety of, hey, let's
Yep.
sadly. So that was the opening match of the night. The crowd, super hot, obviously. We're in Tampa. They're still in Florida. We're at the Yingling Center. They were there for SmackDown, there for Saturday night's main event, there for Battleground, there for Raw, but not for NXT. And before we get into Saturday night's main event, Spaz and I brought this up the other day, but I genuinely feel like this is not a negative towards NXT. That is the fifth show in 5 days that's severely overpriced, and you want people to attend. Yet you have
Uh-huh.
it's just an NXT taping. It's not a pay-per-view. People are going, they sold out the NXT Battleground show. So people care about NXT. They want to go to a pay-per-view, a PLE, but
Right.
they're not going to spend PLE prices, pay-per-view prices for a regular NXT when they can go to the
They're
Performance Center
out.
for free.
What WWE is doing right now is they're outpricing a regular person that
Yes.
can actually go to an event right now.
I brought this up many, many, many weeks ago, early like December before 2025. And I said they are
Yeah.
going to outprice the family that wants to go. You're not going to be able to have mom, dad, and 2 kids attend anymore because
No.
it's going to be more than their college payment at some point to just see Raw. No one's going to
Yeah.
be able to do it.
Exactly.
And it's
It's
happening now. It's
ridiculous.
affecting shows. So now they're not able to sell what they were. The prices apparently were going to be way, way higher than what they were for Vegas at New Orleans this year. And they're worried that fans wouldn't spend that much. So, in order for them to make a profit, as they claimed, or at least the profit that they want to make, they need to go ahead and charge an amount that New Orleans didn't feel comfortable with, basically.
Oh, okay.
So Vegas is more in line with charging more for less. Essentially,
Mhm.
what we're hearing right now. Take it with a grain of salt, but it seems like it all comes down to, hey, they wanted to make money. They knew they were going to make money, but they wanted to make a ton of money. They made a
That's
ton in
TKO's.
Vegas. Yeah. And let's see what we can pull out with this at this point. Because, I mean, it's all just at this point. I mean, they are a bunch of evil, rotten cunts being over in TKO. Where are 5 of the 6 top executives from?
Vegas.
Las Vegas. You nailed it. Guilty. And that's right. Next weekend, we'll have Guilty or Guilt Free, the 3rd episode coming back.
TKO is
Myself and
guilty,
Cody.
and they're a bunch of greedy little people.
They are indeed greedy bastards. And,
I mean, and of course they announced that Evolution's going to be in Atlanta along with the main event, and they're going to do combo tickets for that show. And I was like, oh God, those are going to be through the roof.
Yeah,
So,
because they
you know,
did combo tickets with night 1 and 2 for SummerSlam, and you were looking at, like I said, the what would used to be like the very cheapest of tickets, the limited
right?
view, that type of thing would be like $70 for the weekend, is now
Yep.
$700, and you can't see the entrance, you can barely see the ring, everything is
No.
obscured, and you're supposed to spend, almost $1,000 for 2 nights of not being able to see anything that isn't
Well,
presented on a
I mean,
screen.
it's crazy to think, but for me, it would be, I just have to, it's only, Atlanta's like a 2-hour drive down there. But the problem
Exactly.
is, I'd have to get a ticket for both shows. Then I have to get a hotel room, which also during starting that weekend is when
Is
the All-Star game is going to be down there. So they're going to have any more people down there. So it's going to be
absolutely.
very crowded in Atlanta that weekend,
How they
around that
cannot
time.
put the correlation directly with TKO when they're rising prices, I mean, it's certainly A plus B equals C. At this point in time, it's pretty much as easy as that. I don't know, I smell bullshit. The entire thing feels like a huge negative because now anytime anyone comes out and announces a date, an event, a WrestleMania, a SummerSlam, doesn't mean shit. You know why? Because they could go ahead and, we haven't had
Because
an
TKO is greedy
announcement.
as fuck, and they don't care about the wrestling fans. All they care about is
Exactly.
how many dollars they can get.
We've
If
not had an official announcement of WrestleMania is here. You guys are getting it. This is what's happening. And then they go ahead and don't follow through.
they'll sell wrestling fans for 62 cents, like Mr. Krabs did the SpongeBob, basically, right?
Right.
That's what
Sadly,
they
and
do.
it feels that way. And unfortunately, I mean, Saturday night's main event was still fun, but I would not have expected to pay Mania level prices for these tickets, but that's what fans did. I mean, I saw one fan on X on Twitter, live from the Yingling Center, said she spent $1,800 to sit in the front row of the second balcony.
Fuck that. I wouldn't do that.
Nope. Nope.
I don't even have that in my bank account.
$1,800
So
for the first row of the second balcony.
Well, I can tell you this right now. I don't know if I'll get to Evolution, but it all depends. I'd rather go to Evolution than
That's
the
what
main
we
we
were
event.
supposed to go to
for.
Evolution.
We were
but,
waiting for
like,
Evolution as
TKO
well.
was like, no.
Yeah,
Georgia
we were
wanted
so
to pay us more.
excited. We were so excited.
We were going.
And
We
they
were going. We
basically
were talking
said,
about
hey, we're going to have this come forward. We're going to have Evolution here. So just hold out. Didn't happen. Evolution is supposed to have 8 to 9 matches. So far more than a regular standard card as well. So it really seemed
Right.
like the event to choose. And now
Yeah.
they're
It
bundling
really
it
pisses me
with
off.
previous events. So you have to pay multiple hundreds of dollars to attend no matter what, because they want you to buy tickets to another show to be qualified to buy a ticket at this show. Ridiculous.
TKO is scummy.
Exactly.
Fuck
Like Coot
Vince for
said, so
selling
you
it
can
to
have
Endeavor
fun
in the
looking
first
at the
place.
people having fun beneath you. That's what it comes down to at this point. I can't see shit, but they can see the pyros, so they must be having fun.
A lot of wrestling fans don't have that type of money, and you want to know why crowds aren't like very active and like loud, because it's not the typical fan. If you want crowds to be explosive,
this
like
past
you
week,
need those fans that like watch it every week. We don't have that type of money. If it was affordable for us, the crowds would definitely be a lot hotter and louder.
absolutely.
But
I mean, this past week in Raw, they did
they
not
did have a
deserve
good
the
crowd.
crowd they had in Kansas. That pop for
Go
Punk,
figure.
I'll pull it up right here so you guys can hear it. But I mean, like I said last night, that's when Stone Cold came out and saved Mick Foley. Like, it's that level of excitement that the fans wanted to see Punk. This should be easy to capitalize on. Seth and Braun
CM Punk got a
Breaker.
good pop tonight as well.
He did. Seth and Braun starting off tonight with Paul Heyman taking on CM Punk and Sami Zayn. They were going to do the first match early on.
That pop for Punk tonight was insane.
I'm Steve.
Or as The Rock, or I call it a goosebump moment, like The Rock does.
Apparently, my ring bell now says I am
mean,
Steve, but
Before we get
Okay.
into the first match, I think we need to take another, commercial break.
Yeah. And sadly, here we are. We went ahead and we got into the first match. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker of this new Deadly Alliance, taking on CM Punk and Sami Zayn. I mean, they immediately brawled as soon as they got into the ring. Punk and Zayn cleared the heels from the ring, and the crowd went nuts. They chased them out to ringside. Eventually, they start the match officially. There was a cool spot where Breaker basically goes to the apron and he dives on Sammy and clotheslines him, and both men just completely tumble entirely over the commentary table. That was before their first commercial break. One of many tonight. Zayn got a really great DDT for a near fall. He goes for the haluva kick, but Rollins stops him, grabs his foot, and Punk ends up diving on to Seth. Sammy hits a big exploder suplex, and eventually we got Bronson Reed hopping the barricade, and I was like, oh shit. He does a huge, and I mean huge, running splash on CM Punk. Both of them go through the barricade. Sami Zayn is watching this. He ends up getting speared. That's all that's needed. Braun Breaker pins him 1, 2, 3. A 13-minute solid match. It's all about the afterwards, though. They go ahead. They take Bronson Reed, and he just pulls his straps down and murders everybody. He takes Rollins, and he basically just goes and hugs him tight, and he's like, watch this. And he takes Punk, and he grabs him, and he hits a huge, like senton type splash on Punk. And then they hold down Sammy, and he puts his foot on him and splashes Sammy. Like, this was supposed to be a hot opening match. It was. A hot opening angle? It was. They added a new person, Bronson Reed, who's finally returning since his injury at Survivor Series. He got hurt in the War Games match. This is great.
I'm so happy Bronson Reed's back because
he's a perfect fit for
he
this.
fits perfectly. But the one thing that they do need to address though is Seth and Bronson Reed's problems, and hopefully they do that on Monday Night Raw because
I hope
we know they do have a history of feuding, and they have to have a reason what made them form this alliance because they didn't always get along like that.
Yeah, because we last saw Bronson Reed teaming with those opposing the new bloodline with Roman Reigns.
And
he was on the heel side with Solo
Seth didn't like either bloodline.
No. And
anything bloodline, Seth didn't want to do it.
Solo, not so much. But Bronson Reed, goddamn, he went ahead and he splashed Sammy, 5 times to make him cough up blood on that episode of Raw, caused internal injuries.
Amazing. I'm so happy Bronson Reed's back.
I love that.
He was on a
so
hot
now
run
him
until he got
hugging
hurt.
Seth is a bit confusing, but not in a bad way. It's like, how did we get here? I'm intrigued. I want to know. So what they
have
did,
to explain that because we do know.
Even Paul Heyman got physically involved, and he hasn't done that in a while. So all of this worked. It was very effective. Bronson Reed is the third member. No one was predicting him to A, return, and B, be the third member. I thought they'd add someone from NXT, maybe like an Ethan Page.
We know where this is going. This is eventually going to turn into a War Games in November. So I wouldn't be surprised if another member or two are added in by then. And I think Ethan Page would be another great member. And
absolutely.
I don't know who you. Yeah, as a
I don't know who the fifth would be. I mean, there's certainly options, and I mean Jesse Ventura, maybe. I mean, if it's that main event,
I think you could do Cena.
Cena would not be the worst person, honestly. With the heel run right now, with the way he attacked Jay, with what he came out to do and accomplish in the match, it worked.
Yeah, because
this opening was super hot.
With each other.
The only negative is The Rock. Honestly, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson not being involved makes it a bit confounding and confusing. That's the unfortunate part here, because we had Cena turn his soul, or sell his soul and turn his allegiance on its face, but we don't know why. Why did he turn? Why was The Rock involved at all? Did The Rock need to be involved? It doesn't seem that way, but I don't know. It's one of those things that you're just like, it makes no sense. But if I love wrestling, I just gotta take the happy pills. That's right. So, all in all, this was a fun way to start off the show. Bronson Reed is a great third member. A lot of heel heat here, but still not perfect. It was missing something. Then they got into the most recently added match. Zelina Vega taking on Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green being encumbered by the Secret Hervis, both Piper Niven and Alba Fire. So this is the third Women's United States Championship defense, and it's defended on Saturday Night Main Event each time as well. Pretty cool. We saw Chelsea Green hit Vega with like a really cool, like basically inverted drop that took her back, and she got a near 2 count. They went, of course, yet again, right into commercial break. We saw Zelina basically battling back. She gets a big backstabber on her.
There's a tweet saying Drew McIntyre is going off TV for the foreseeable future.
God, with the way that ended, anything is possible. So eventually Vega, she headbutts Green, and then she hits Chelsea with a code red from the rope. She gets a 3 count, but it was a very short match. 5 minutes, nothing more. Come on. They couldn't have given them 10 minutes? 15, really, but 10? I failed to see why they couldn't have allowed these women to have a better match. A very not surprising outcome. We thought Zelina would go ahead and retain. I had hoped Chelsea Green would take the belt back, but this was just not the match for it. And everyone's like, oh, well, she got a bloody nose, and maybe it was the headbutt, or maybe it's already bleeding when she hit the mat on the code red. But either way, they kind of cut away once she started bleeding, and that seemed to be the end. So who cares? The Reds are red, white, and blue, because as soon as you see red, they're cashing out. Unfortunately, Swerve Show, I agree. You know, it's been a long time since they've had a excellent match on Saturday night's main event. What they gave us here was very, unfortunately, lackluster. They were trying to progress story,
very
which I'm
rushed
fine with.
and all that, you know.
Yes, that's the thing. They have 2 hours, and everything felt immensely rushed, but super short at the same time.
Yep.
Very, very peculiar.
I mean, look how long Jey Uso and Logan Paul got. They didn't get hardly anything.
And they got barely any time at all altogether. I think it was around 10 minutes, maybe 9:50. My timing I had bell to bell was like 9:52, so I'm sure it's around that point. Usually I'm a few seconds off, but it was good to see Cody, and obviously we'll get into that later, but what a disappointment still for the main event. So we get into the second match. As we said, nothing really to discuss here. Zelina, they go into commercial break yet again. Zelina goes ahead and gets a bloody nose, and then they push the ending with a code red. She gets the 3 count. That was it. Not great.
I mean, not my favorite match. I think you could just tell that was thrown together last minute, like how the match was.
Yeah.
And it just showed on
they
TV
did add
tonight
this
that they didn't
last
have
to
a
the
lot of time
card,
to
but
plan for it.
I kept hoping they would add a women's U.S. title shot or a women's U.S. Women's IC title, either one.
I would have thought maybe they would have added Becky and Lyra to this show.
That would have made more sense with some type of stipulation. And instead, they're trying to push Chad Gable and El Hingo del Vikingo on June 7th for Worlds Collide. Same day they're doing Money in the Bank.
Mhm.
But they're showing these two in the crowd, and it's cool to see them, and especially to see them get some love on like a national audience with NBC. But why is it not El Grande Americano?
Yeah, that's what I was about to bring up. Why isn't El Grande
in a
Americano in
Lucha
this match?
promoted
Yeah.
pay-per-view or PLE?
Unless he's going to have a match as well.
I don't think so. I think it's just Chad, so it makes it even more confounding and confusing. And when you bring up these type of questions, it just takes it's so hard to suspend disbelief and be like, yes, that's why. What are they
Oh
doing
my God,
here?
they're doing the Cody. They did the Cody Rhodes chant after the show went off the air. The crowd did.
There we go. I still like to hear the Cody Rhodes. I'll
Yeah,
accept
they did.
it, but
Somebody on TikTok. They were there live, and I just ran across it.
I'll take it one more time. But it's not as exciting as Joe Hendry might be. But honestly,
You
yeah.
believe?
Her 619 was bad, and she kneed her in the nose because the botch looked so bad. That was the thing. So Zelina,
that 619, I was just like going.
That 619 looked so brutal in the worst way possible. What a botch. Yep. And then on top of it, like you said, so now she's bleeding from the nose, as I mentioned earlier. Yep. It just didn't have a good feel. It was like, I like it. What are we lacking? Why can't we get something worthwhile here? But that was not the case. And we're 2 for 2 now. The opening match was fun, but it ended in heel heat, so you're not walking away happy. And really, it only reintroduced Bronson Reed, so it's not like the biggest of deals. It's still interesting to see them in the group. We want to know why him and Seth are working together.
But like we said, that they definitely need to address that situation, how Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins are hugging now all of a sudden.
It's not giving me that huge feel, the unnecessary vibe of like, I have to tune in and figure out why he's teaming with them. Like, why did Cena turn heel? And then we got no answer. Unfortunately,
if they were going to have John Cena and Logan Paul form an alliance, and John Cena's whole thing is the Rune Wrestling, by the way, I want to get into this.
Yeah.
Why not have Logan Paul take the championship? Because now they're a pair ruining wrestling, a YouTuber and someone that's about to retire.
You would think that would be the perfect thing to have. No doubt about it. But that was not the case. And then we go ahead, and next we get John Cena versus R-Truth.
Finally, The Rock, Kevin Kelly, The Rock.
I don't know what that was. There was some type of service interruption. I'm sorry. We're trying to get our feed back. We keep having problems with our feed to YouTube. And the more we try and send it directly, they just keep messing up. So we get that error message. So sorry, folks. God, that's so unprofessional. But
if it goes back to that again, I don't know what we do.
I don't know. We probably just have to end the show because I mean the feed should be up, and you know they're trying. YouTube's trying to replace us with The Rock, and to me that feels personal. Like I know they got to put something up if this isn't working, but The Rock. Of all people.
You mentioned John Cena. And it went to. He heard us. Yeah, I don't think he likes that.
Yeah, he's trying to ruin the show.
And John Cena wants to ruin wrestling, of all things. I mean, he made his entrance to hearing people just chant, John Cena sucks. I liked it. I mean, yeah. But now we're getting Saturday night's main event on June 13th, right? Or excuse me,
no.
June 13th.
July 12th, right?
No, July. They're saying June 13th was what I had listed here. I thought it was July 12th.
July 12th.
Okay.
Is it June? I thought it was July.
I thought it was July. One of the tweets says June 13th. The other one says July 12th. But either which way, I thought June 13th, Jesus Christ, July 13th was Evolution, and then July 12th was Saturday night's main event. But we'll see what happens.
July 12th is main event. July 13th is Evolution.
Yes, so they're going to have, again, back-to-back events. But
one of those months with a J in it, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. The last time really is now. Cena comes out. He's got the ring announcer doing his entrance again. The greatest of all time, and gracing Tampa with his presence for the final time.
Okay, I got it. The month that will take place is the month that begins with the first two letters J and U. So you figure that out, and then
all right,
you go from there.
I'm glad you helped.
No.
I'm glad we got that clarified. Thank you. At least we know that it begins with J-U and ends with blah, blah, blah. So John Cena comes out, total heel the entire time. And then we get R-Truth coming out to John
I said this on our other show the other day. I said
You
R-Truth should do
called
that.
it. You and
I
Liz
love
both
that.
called this night almost perfectly between the Cody interference, between the
Yep.
match listing and when it would take place. Liz even got that right. Like you two, Nostradamuses of the
I like
wrestling
this.
world.
R-Truth coming out as the good John Cena. So it was like the closest you will get John Cena versus the fans, because
I loved
R-Truth
hearing the you
represents the
can't
John Cena
wrestle. Yes,
fandom.
he can. You can't wrestle.
Can't
Yes,
wrestle.
he can.
Yes, he
Yeah,
can.
exactly. That was fun. You know, we got that bit of disbelief, and then John has that look of disgust on him, and he tosses R-Truth onto the freaking audience.
It was really John Cena versus the fans tonight.
And that was a great
because R-Truth
substitution
represents
for
the
him.
fans.
But Cena's heel turn has been worse than Goldberg's. I agree, Mr. Pico, because
Totally agree on that.
yeah, John turning heel at first at the Chamber was bigger than Hogan, bigger than everybody. It was revolutionary. It transcended wrestling and the reach wrestling has. It surpassed far beyond what we normally see. You saw everybody in pop culture. Oh my God, I grew up watching John Cena say hustle, loyalty, respect, and now he's a heel. Oh my God, I never watched wrestling, but I knew Cena was the good guy. Oh my God, how could he turn his back on the fans? And eventually they just followed up with you people. And from there, it really fell flat. And this match fell flat.
You people
for
made no
me.
sense in 2025 because for how many years now has he been getting cheered?
And he's been saying as well, any reaction is a good reaction. And it all came down. He gave him the 5-knuckle shuffle, and then he gets the attitude adjustment, and Truth hits the 5-knuckle shuffle and the attitude adjustment, and Cena kicks out at 2, and it's just,
the good John Cena versus the heel John Cena, whatever you like.
So now good John Cena, a.k.a. R-Truth, puts evil John Cena in the STF, but eventually he grabs the rope.
He had on a shirt.
Yes, Ron
Cena. Ron Cena.
Glad you brought that up, Ron Cena. Eventually, they went ahead and they had the turnbuckle exposed from the cage match, and Cena basically took Truth and brought his title belt in. He goes to hit him, but then he stops, and he's not going to hit him with the title belt, but then John low blows him, then hits him with the belt, and then suckers him in and pins him. He suckered us all, as Michael Cole said. He wins in 4 minutes and
Cena
25 seconds. In less than 5 minutes.
We jobbed out to Cena tonight.
I mean, this felt piss poor. I didn't expect it to go a half hour.
This is how John Cena's heel turn has been so far. It's been low blow, title hit the person with the title. Low blow, hit the person with the title.
Now, I do
Which
say
I get it, because I think he's just trying to be the most generic.
This was brief. It was uneventful, but worse than that, it was just boring. I mean, really,
it was a waste of time.
Yeah, big time. And I mean, I wasn't expecting like the bloodiest of beatdowns, but I really thought he was going to murder R-Truth to be like, no, you're not going to get, hustle, loyalty, respect back out of me. That's gone.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought after he hit him with the title, he was just going to beat him up some more, and he just took off. And I was
he takes off, he grabs the title, he holds it up, he heads backstage, and that was it. And there's R-Truth.
He turns his back, and I was thinking to myself, well, maybe Cody's going to come out behind him. No, okay.
No. Cody didn't chase after him. Cody comes out, he makes the save, and then it's the main event. It has nothing to do with John Cena.
After the Cena and Jay interaction, I knew Cena was going to probably get involved in the main event. Then I'm like, all right, Cody Rhodes is going to return from there. I had a feeling
said the same thing as well. She called that.
Yep. I said the exact same thing.
She went ahead and, like I said, Nostradamus style, she went and predicted that, hey, I see Cena talking to Jay and the way he's undermining him. I really think it's going to be where we get, Jay and Cena facing off. Cena's going to get involved in Jay's match, which was your direct quote, Liz. You were absolutely right, and you called it as it happened. And as we get there, we'll bring that up. But the next match we had was was the best of the night for me. Absolutely.
Before we get into it.
Yes.
Roll another commercial.
More commercials.
as they stuffed us with commercials tonight. So
Gotta
they
pay.
had
Gotta get the money somehow.
exactly Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre,
You know
Steel
what? Fuck it.
Cage.
One more.
One
Just
more.
one
You know
more.
what? Fuck it. Bring the ad revenue. We go ahead. We get Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and they got one more. Oh, look at those commercials. So we get a chair in the ring.
This is worse than Twitch ads.
Yeah, right. We get the Twitch ads hitting us up all throughout because right away, Drew hits Priest as soon as he gets in the cage. And you see Priest on the floor. He's like completely bewildered that this attack happened so soon. And Drew just brings in a chair and he starts beating him down with it. And what do? They don't capitalize on it. They do this.
Yep.
They went to commercial. Like, what?
I don't understand.
Are you kidding me? That's how you edit this? That's how you handle this?
God.
Cody, you're so right. Like, this is what you do now? This is how you handle this? I'm going to murder Drew. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to... And then I'm going to fuck him up.
You know, I was
I'm going to take him and I'm going to hit him with a chair. I was curious how,
you know, all I saw was a bunch of commercials. I was kind of like, what match was this?
And that's the problem. And this was such a good match. I know they need commercial interruption, especially being on non-cable with network NBC, but you're being aired on Peacock, which people are paying a hefty price to have no commercial interruptions. Therefore, this should be handled like Netflix does with the rest of the promotions. When there's something going on that's in the commercial break.
Did someone in the chat say one more time?
I think they did. One more. Let's go.
One more time for the commercials.
Yeah.
Where was Drew's sword? I have no idea where Drew's sword was.
I don't know if I can hear.
I can't hear him. I think he's muted.
You're muted. Are we experiencing technical difficulties?
I don't know. We might have that commercial break. Might have broke the stream. I heard that. I'll hear him.
You can't hear you. Hopefully the Rock doesn't. You know, the Rock might be coming back.
There we go. I think Wavelink crashed, so I had to restart it. But that's okay. See, I'm learning to fix things on the fly. You can hear me now, right?
Hey, the commercial break.
There we go. Look at commercial break fixed it. There we go.
Wait, were we just experiencing technical difficulties?
I don't think so. We were just...
Finally. The Rock, Kevin Kelly, The Rock.
Oh, The Rock can go to hell. So sorry. There we go. I think Wavelink crashed, but we're back. I mean, yeah. Only talking about that OnlyFans. That's what happens. I mean, that's all he cares about. And we saw a Priest here. He walks through the door. And then he's like standing on the steps. I thought that meant he was out, but I guess not. And then he looks back at Drew.
No, your feet had to hit the floor.
I get that after the fact, but like you're still out of the cage, so it's a weird visual. Like I know you have to go all the way down the steps, but it's just like a kind of thing. So then you have Jesse Ventura being like, "Oh, Priest is wasting his time," which he is, but that's when Damian Priest goes ahead and he drops to the floor and he wins the match, and he just walks out. And he's like, oh, he could leave the match by leaving the cage instead of pinning his opponent.
I know people criticize this ending, but this in-ring aspect, though, it was the best match, I think, of the night to me.
I mean, he went ahead.
I think this was my favorite.
Priest used the same move to eliminate Edge. He hits him with the concerto. He walks out of the cage. and that's all we get. He hits him
Yeah.
once. That was enough. The fans keep chanting one more time, but lo and behold, he walks out. And that was always my problem with the concerto. Like, your brain should be out of your ears. They should really
Let's get
save
into
this
this.
for major endings, like major
So what do you
feuds.
think about the steel cage match with the door escape? Do you like it or not? Because I know a lot of people hate the door escape.
I've never been a fan of the door escape. It's the whole point of a cage is to keep people out and keep you in. So being able to escape the cage, unless you're climbing over the top, which shouldn't even be allowed. You shouldn't be able to climb out of it. You should be stuck in there. That's the point of the cage, to keep everyone else out and you in.
I think a steel cage should be more of like a mini Hell in a Cell. I think they should add a roof to the cage.
If they want to add a mini Hell in a Cell, sure, maybe not. I mean, if they really want to climb out of it, I guess that's more athletics than a fucking door. I mean, when you walk to the door to leave, that always felt like such a drastically underwhelming option.
But I think you need to add a roof to it because people can realistically still get involved. All they have to do is climb from the outside.
But that's why you need the Hell in a Cell. So that's when you elevate the cage to the Hell in a Cell. Yeah. And I get the need of escalation because why else would you need a Hell in a Cell? Well, the cage didn't work. But cage matches should not have exits as victories. I'm sorry. It's not right. It's not. I mean, if you want to have people climb out, maybe you could make an athletic compromise there. But having them just simply
you can't
walk
always
out
use
the
door
door,
escape because yes, it works for heels. I think it works for heels, but they get the easy way out. But that will just be overdone, and then it will just get boring, and then
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think people have had me muted for a while, but at least we got that fixed now. I mean, there's been so many problems since we've gone ahead and come back. It's been The Rock. It's been all about it. Honestly, what I'm saying is I hate the fact that there is a bunch of bullshit to be had with steel chairs, and, that's not enough to kill you. All right, we're going to go do the concerto. That's enough to kill you. You should be out for a while. All you need is one. You don't need fans chanting one more time.
He could have just pinned him.
But the steel cage,
I don't know why he
pinned him.
I don't know why he didn't pin him in the first place. He had him knocked out. All you got to do is turn him over and pin him.
That's what we're baffled by. I guess it was more of like a statement for him to walk away.
He had all that time because he stood there debating, should I go back in or should I just
kill him and
step on the floor?
I thought Drew was going to win. I mean, Seth, God, his new group, I don't see Priest being in there.
I think Drew needed to win more, actually, by the way.
Drew needed to win more than Damian Priest did.
Seth and his little group is Drew.
That's what I'm saying.
Drew would be a good one. Drew and Ethan Page.
I don't think Drew's joining anymore, though. At least not now. I mean, him losing here, that's why I'm saying it takes him way out.
Seth's group.
Yeah.
Because maybe Seth's not the true leader. Maybe Cena is, because now it will make sense because CM Punk wants his likes at Cena. Jey Uso's going to want it now. So,
I think
the people
Seth
that
lost
Seth's group
more
feuding with
and dealt with more of an issue than Damian Priest or Drew McIntyre did as a result of this match.
So,
and
I think
that
Cena
shouldn't be.
So,
it should be like whoever wins is truly suffering because of what they had to do to survive. Instead, Priest was like, oh, I just got to walk out. I sauntered out of the exit door while my opponent was completely incapacitated.
Yes.
So what do you do going forward? Where do we get Priest going for the title now? Do we get him?
I don't know if I'm interested in Priest versus Cena.
I don't feel like that's a match to have. I feel like that's really a waste of Cena's time, sadly.
No. Mm-mm. No.
Yeah, so where do we go with Damian Priest from here? Back to what? The U.S. title against Jacob Fatu? That doesn't sound great either, right?
Mm-mm.
So
I don't know.
He wins this match, and now where does he go? He has a bunch of quick finishes and then down the totem pole again. I don't know what they do with Damian Priest here because having him win doesn't feel like a rehab. And then going forward, I'm just baffled as to what they will do with him to use him properly. LA Knight, that's easy. And they've proven it's easy to get him back over. Drew, he loses here. It is unfortunate, but he can survive. He lost to Punk and still was a great threat. We can have him lose here. But Drew winning without Damian, without Priest really gaining anything or doing anything of note, It didn't advance any story. It didn't go ahead and make him more believable or menacing. It just was a result at the end of the day. So Damian Priest beating Drew. I don't know. I'm worried about the ripple effect and what comes far after this because of this victory rather than the here and now. I think Priest being the victor is a bad idea, and Drew is going to suffer because of it.
Yep. I don't
That's
know what they're
my
going to do
take.
now. Well, Drew's going to be off TV for a while, so.
It seems
I
and
don't know
feels
why
that
they keep
way.
making Drew McIntyre lose because he needs this more than Damian does. And then, you know,
would think.
WWE being WWE, should we book logically? Nah.
And you figure, like, okay, Drew took the title from, or Damian took the title from Drew. So that should be like enough of the feud to focus on anyways. But they really haven't touched back on that. It's been mentioned,
Right,
but briefly. It's not a motivation for either men. It's not a reasoning.
You would think Drew needs to come up as the victorious in this feud because, yeah, Damian costed him the title. He took the title away from him. So this is Drew's revenge.
Absolutely.
And Drew needs to win this match, but no, they didn't do that.
So a lot of tonight was really just capped off by what I felt like was poor decisions in the terms of future events. Yeah, so not only were we loaded with a ton of commercials, and Kat, stop stabbing me, your nails are sharp. Jesus Christ, Simba. But what do we get going forward? So, we got Joe Tessitore working his ass off, but Seth and Braun, now they have Bronson Reed. Okay, that's cool. And what does it mean? Does CM Punk and Sami Zayn need to add Roman, or are they going to add Jay? Is there another third? A little bit of intrigue there, not the best, but for the most part, it feels like a kind of forgotten feud. Zelina Vega beating Chelsea Green, that maybe not the foregone conclusion we thought it was, but it's like, where does Zelina go from here? Then, of course, as we said before, John Cena, R-Truth. We all knew this was going to be a quick thing. Where does Cena go from here, Liz? Like, where's next?
I don't know.
What's exciting
next?
I mean,
first of all, he's got a tag match with Cody and Jay.
I know Night of Champions is coming up eventually, so do we have Jay versus Cena, champion for champion, Night of Champions, to see who's the rightful holder of that ring or whatever bullshit we had that Cody won? I guess, but when is it? And we have a lot of time until then. Milo agrees. We have so much time until then. We have Worlds Collide. We have Money in the Bank. Like, what happens next? I mean, it just feels like we're really in a crazy holding pattern. And then, of course, Drew and Damian, we discussed.
So now you got Cody back, and Cody, they're going to do that Money in the Bank tag match. So who knows what's going to happen in that thing? So,
He's still upset. Milo's very upset. He's not having it.
Sounds like my dog.
I know. I tried to get him to calm down, but he's just going to keep going nuts. Oh, God. I don't blame him. I'd be pissed, too, if Cena went out the way he did tonight, and especially when we get into the main event. I mean, this was supposed to be a big deal, but then...
Finally, The Rock, Kevin Kelly, The Rock.
I think we got the feedback. Sorry, folks. Jesus, this is just goddamn.
Yeah, I know Milo. I don't like
TNT, Milo, all of it. Everybody keeps fucking with it. I don't know what's going on here. The feed is supposed to be secure, but YouTube is just not feeling it tonight.
Imagine getting your own show just dropped.
Your own show dropped, and then they replace you with The Rock, of all people.
Who could that happen to?
I don't know. I mean, that's disgusting. It's vile. It is just unnecessary for them to go ahead and replace us with The Rock. It is a total collision. It's a mess, and I am angry. I'm offended, and I feel like this has just been a total oversight.
We need a break. I think we need a commercial before we get into the main event because
I think we do as well. And this segment is sponsored by
The Rock.
That's right. And YouTube's So now we have the main event. And I did not anticipate this match to be the main event. Honestly, I am a bit shocked. It was not what I was expecting to happen, not the way I expected it to go down. I thought this would open or be in the middle. I did not expect them to give Jey Uso and Logan Paul the main event. I get why, with Cena's involvement, that they would have this happen, but Cena gets involved, and the referee was pulled out of the ring. And not only pulled out of the ring, but then he was like woozy from it. And then Cody's return happens, and then more of Cena's involvement. You did. You came back. But the ref never called for a disqualification. So he was attacked. He was pulled out of the ring. He was assaulted. And
Like,
he's just like,
I know he was down, but wouldn't he be aware?
Jey Uso was hilarious.
This is where the logic doesn't make sense, because I know he was got pulled out, so Cena could beat up Jey, but wouldn't he be aware he was attacked himself?
Correct? Yeah, I mean, there's some really sloppy shit here, and I know it was all about the aftermatch. You know, we got Cody on the mic.
What I would have done is
Cena's ruined enough, and
Logan trying to do the one lucky punch, and then Jey ducks and he accidentally hits the ref. Then the ref has to say, "Okay, that's an accident."
Yeah.
So then the ref knocked out that way. Then Cena comes out. That would have made a lot more sense.
I would have loved that. That would have made so much more sense. Instead of the one lucky punch, instead of Jey having to, none of this. I mean, so we get the match starting, and basically Cole is already reminding everybody that Gunther is going to face the winner of this match on June 9th. And that takes place after Money in the Bank, meaning Cena will not be defending his title that night either. So
Cena pulled out on the ref, I guess, tonight,
Yeah, I mean, it basically was like an early blockbuster. Jey gets out of the ring, and then Paul does a huge dive, and we're back to this.
Yep.
We get a huge pop-up Samoan drop. That was cool. And we got a nice buckshot lariat. Jey that is able to get out of it and super kick. Logan gets a near fall, and that gets the crowd chanting, "This is awesome." So cool to hear them, really get into that.
We tried to also chanted one more time, and I think one more time would also be a perfect fit for another commercial.
Absolutely. Just one more time. And now we get Logan just kind of like going in the ring, the middle turnbuckle's exposed, and that's when Logan's like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit him with a big punch." I cover him, I get the near fall, and that's when Jey gets in his super kicks. He hits the Uso splash, he gets the near fall, and that's when John Cena comes out. We've
Are you ready for this Sunday night?
We've had enough. So that's when John Cena comes in, and as soon as he gets to ringside, he rips the ref out of the ring. Cena enters, and he just starts beating Jey. He's hitting him with every punch and kick possible. And that's when we get it. Since WrestleMania 41 Night 2, the main event, we have not seen him. But finally, Cody Rhodes returns. That's right. Liz knows. And Cody, his entrance music hits downstate blaring.
And that pop, and the crowd went crazy.
The crowd did not only go wild, mild, and surreal. They went totally fucking crazy nuts. The American Nightmare comes out in his American Nightmare jacket. He's taking down Cena. He hits him with a crossroads. Then he goes after Paul, who has brass knuckles. But what does he do? He reverses it. He ducks the punch, and he follows up, takes him down. Now we get a big Uso splash. The referee makes the count. 1, 2, 3.
Actually, Cody ducks, and Jey hits him Jey hits Paul with a spear, and then the Uso splash.
Yes, then the Uso splash after the spear. Thank you for the correction. And the referee makes a 3 count. Another 10-minute match. I don't think anything really went above 10 or 11 minutes tonight. I know this
Here's
is
my
like,
thing with this. This is where I said if
yeah,
John Cena and Logan Paul were going to form an alliance, I think Logan Paul actually should have won the championship tonight because that would have made John Cena's goal of ruining wrestling a lot more accomplishment, all that.
yeah.
And then
Then Cody could have
because you have a
returned.
YouTuber and a guy that's out the door in a few months as the
Yeah.
champions, that's a
Then
perfect way
Cody
to
could
ruin
have
wrestling.
returned to try and save Jay after he lost his title. I agree. There should have been some. I don't want to not see Jay as champ, but he's not in any peril here. He's not in any danger. Cody grabs the
Right.
mic after the match and he's like, Cena, you've ruined enough. And he's like, this is all I have to say. He's like, your farewell tour ran through Rhodes country.
Rhodes country.
Yep. And he's like, now I'm ready to fight. I've got a partner. And I've got a brother in Jay. So guess what? We'll see Cena and Paul at Money in the Bank. So they make a huge announcement here. It's not Travis Scott. It's Logan Paul and John Cena versus Cody Rhodes and the former tag team champion he was partnered with, Jay Main Event Uso, the world heavyweight champion. There's a lot they can do with this. I'm not against this match at all. I'm happier that it's not with Travis Scott. Cactus Jack.
Thank God.
He does not need to be involved at all whatsoever. I am not. I like his music, but I'm not a fan of him. I do not want him involved in the wrestling. God, me. I mean, turn a sideways and totally eat
joke on Twitter.
Sandwich.
Oh, I saw this joke on Twitter just now. What did Travis Scott say when he saw Bray Wyatt?
What?
Fiend, you know.
I thought you were going to say, why am I in hell?
Oh, God.
What the fuck?
Oh, man.
Oh, sorry. But
you're going to get us canceled. But
I am.
You know what? I've been canceled a few times, you know.
Yeah, George will tell you, you have been canceled indeed. So the YouTube chat has been wild tonight. I appreciate you guys having fun. Too much obvious rolling out of the ring and week-long tag title reigns. I miss the shocking, quick title reigns. Not everyone has to have 700-plus days. I loved in the Attitude Era was Stone Cold was champion for like 42 days. And then Triple H had it for 38, and then The Rock had it for 30. Like, it was always like a month long, but then they got the best.
It was good to hot potato it a lot because you never knew what was going to happen.
And that's what made Punk have such an outstanding title reign because
they didn't really do long title reigns until
Punk. Exactly. So him having 400 and 68 days, I think, somewhere around there, was perfect. But now
and this
we
is
get
why I don't like
reign of 1,000.
everyone.
Gunther had the IC title for 1,000 days almost. It was like, what, 600 something? Like, we get years and years of title reigns.
A very unlucky number. I'm looking it up. It was
669, right? Or 666, yes.
That's not a fun number to have. They should have given one more day, maybe.
Maybe. Jeez. But, still in that realm of the devil's lettuce. And I shit on it, yes, but I miss the anything can happen feel. I hate going into a match with
Jerry just won it. He needs a
conclusions.
lengthier reign. Not everyone needs a long ass reign. Like he can drop
they
it
shouldn't.
Now and then
You should have the fear that guess what? This is my first title defense, and I can lose the belt. Just like Sasha lost to Charlotte. That was her first title defense. Oh, no, you should lose because guess what? And it traded back. It adds to the story. I'm not saying every time.
Because then it's just predictable. Like, it's their first title defense. They're going to win.
We go into these pay-per-views saying like, oh, Cena's going to retain. Oh, Jay's going to retain. Oh, Tiffy's going to retain. Oh, Io's going to retain. So what do we get?
Like, there's no women's tag teams for Liv and Raquel. They're gonna retain because they're gonna face
Liv and Raquel are gonna retain
local talent.
We've gotten everybody to go ahead and not give us an actual match, division, scenario, whatever it is. And if you look at the women's, secondary titles with Zelina and Lyra was a huge focus heading into Backlash, but now she's been forgotten about. She beat Lucky. Guess what, Becky? Now you're going to feud with Bayley, and Lyra's, again, a forgotten entity. She dead, bitch. And, yeah, Triple H's first defense after Mania 18 was a loss. Fuck me. That's the truth. And that's... Rock and Mankind started the hot potato title reigns, and we had the Deadly Alliance win. Then, oh, look, and back and forth, the Boiler Room Brawl, the Sunday Night Heat for the Super Bowl, and so on and so forth. I just like the idea that the title can change hands. Not that it has to, but that it can. I hate going into these title matches being like, well, the champion's going to retain because simply they're the champion.
Know what I hate as well? World title matches happening, then they go into commercial break. Kind of
I don't understand that either, especially during the main event. Like, oh, we've got this 20-minute commercial-free break. Yeah, that's your main event. That's your world title. That's your women's world title. That's your tag team titles. Let's present that. Let's get it over. Let's do something. And that's why I am happy about Double or Nothing putting Ospreay and Hangman for their Owen Hart Foundation final for the tournament being the main event. Because why? That match calls for it.
Yep.
It makes sense.
Never know.
It needs
Double
to
or
be
Nothing
the main
might
event.
get replaced with Black Adam,
It might happen just like this. One more time, we might get The Rock interfering and screwing over AEW.
Why did I say it? It's my fault.
John turning into face by Peacemaker Season 2 is possible. And then if we see John face before he ends the year to go ahead and be like, hey, no, I tried to fuck up everybody else. I couldn't. And now I see the error in my ways. Fans would accept him as a face or a heel. I feel like it can go either which way and still be in his benefit. But all in all, for tonight's show, I want to give it like a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. It wasn't bad. It wasn't not entertaining. It just was very predictable, and it was marred entirely by commercial breaks.
Here's my weird thing. My favorite match of the night also has my least favorite ending of the night, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Drew and Priest, probably best in-ring match, would you say? I would say so.
Yeah. Oh, out of all five, Drew and Damian had the best match.
They tore the house down, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, give them their kudos. They fucking killed it. But the ending, I don't like it. But the show overall, I don't know. The commercials killed it for me because someone just said we only got like almost 29 to 30 minutes of actual on-air screen time of the show, and then the other hour and a half was commercials, kind of
completely
like
just totally commercial breaks. Just one bullshit.
You got to make your money
after another, like this. And we tried, like Pico said, 7 if Tatanka interfered. I give that the same review. If Tatanka had come in and actually walloped somebody, that would have made my night. And they could still do that. Like, why not have them get involved? You don't need everybody to have a rematch. All you do is have them pick a star that they most align with currently to represent them. And it makes people interested. Oh, Tatanka, I loved him growing up. Now he's fighting for X and Y, and I like them too. What I fail to understand how such a simple connection cannot be made. And it does hurt. I mean, what match am I most looking forward to Sunday night from both Battleground and AEW Double or Nothing? Ooh, so Battleground, I really want to say, shockingly,
oh wait, am I not?
Obafemi and Miles Bourne, I'm most looking forward to.
Oh, yeah.
I think Stephanie and Jordan. So Stephanie Vacour and Jordan Grace will be match of the night.
Wait, Battleground's tomorrow?
It is tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's starting at 8 p.m. Eastern while AEW Double or Nothing is going on live.
Are you going to watch like both?
I'm going to have one up on my phone, one up on the computer. We're going to be dipping in, double viewing, and reviewing both. Review. Absolutely, it's
A
gonna be
doubleheader of a
massive.
review tomorrow.
Tomorrow's review is
Oh,
gonna
yeah, triple
start
header, yeah.
late.
Yes, I'm probably gonna go live after Battlegrounds, so AEW Double or Nothing, not Dynamite, will still be live, and people will be able to tune in then, let us know their thoughts.
With
But
the amount of matches they have, we might be off the air here before AEW is off the air, you know?
see, so Spaz
Because
feels like the women's main event should be the true main event. So Stephanie and Jordan should be the main event of Battleground, and he feels like Hangman, Adam Page, and the men's Owen Hart final for the tournament should be the final match of that show for the year.
Speaking about AEW,
I agree
do you
with
think
him
they add another
entirely,
15
but
matches when we wake up tomorrow?
No.
So AEW only has a few so far announced, and that is
That's why
kind
I'm
of
saying
interesting. So right now we've got Ospreay, Hangman, we've got the Anarchy in the Arena match with Kenny's team versus obviously
that
Moxley's
Anarchy in the
team.
Arena match is going to take a lot of time. So
That's going to be a big time
But
suck. So
that doesn't matter because AEW likes match.
then we've got Mercedes and Jamie in the Owen Hart. We've got Tony Storm taking on Mina. We've got the Hurt Syndicate taking on the Texas Sons or whatever they call them, Sammy and Dustin. Sons of Texas, thank you. Then we've got Kushida Okada taking on Mike Bailey. That'll be good. Okada will win, obviously, to take on Omega, but we've got FTR taking on Nigel and Daniel Garcia, so that's interesting with the commentator factor. Ricochet, Mark Briscoe in a stretcher match. And then we have the new Paragon. So Fletcher, Takeshita, Josh Alexander taking on Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly. So we got the Don Callis family heels taking on the new Paragon. And then in the pre-show, Megan Bain will take on Penelope Ford and Anna Jay with Harley Cameron. So a great women's tag match
too many
there.
matches so far. That's why you might see another 5 matches get added.
Yeah, a lot of matches, not enough commercial breaks for AEW. That's a big worry of mine. I mean, they need to have some more commercial breaks. Tony Storm is going to retain the AEW Women's title. We'll obviously see more than likely Mercedes beat Jamie. As we said before, we've got Omega taking on the heels of like the Death Rider / Okada side with the Elite. And then Ospreay and Hangman. They said Ospreay and Hangman are going to be the main event. I think that is the best use of their time. That's probably the most effective one to have. And if Pico wants to have sex, you can use this theme, Pico. Use the unapologetic and completely random podcast theme.
Oh, we are sponsored by condoms tonight, so please roll the ad.
Trojans.
And a little commercial and
fuck your wife, but don't get pregnant by fucking your life. Trojan. That's right. Fuck your wife, not your life is a great campaign for condoms. But
oh god,
because The Rock is sponsoring condoms tonight. Because if you want to show, if you're gonna do the deed with your significant other, you're gonna show them your rock so you can.
The Rock wants to know if you have the cock. Oh, that's right.
Finally, The Rock, Kevin Kelly, The Rock.
Sorry, folks. Jesus Christ, we
I'm
lost.
sorry, that was
again.
my fault. I shouldn't have talked shit about.
You were really shitting the bed tonight, my friend. I mean, every time you mention The Rock, the cock comes up, and I mean, I want to use that commercial theme during sex like everybody else, but Pico, you see what happens. It just turns into a problem for us. I mean, the more we try to make things appropriate, the more things stay the same.
Let me try to speak good about The Rock. Maybe that will help. Like, the thing I'm most excited for Double or Nothing tomorrow is maybe another appearance by Black Adam, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we could get Black Adam coming in and taking down all of the PLE, just stopping the pay-per-view in its tracks.
And remove Double from the name, and it can be AEW Nothing. You know?
Oh, just completely nothing. Why is it nothing? Because it got taken down off the feed. But with Battleground, I want to say that I'm most excited, like I said, for Stephanie and Jordan, but that's not the truth. It really is Obafemi and Miles Bourne. My mother's deaf. I mean, I've got a huge, huge personal connection to Miles Bourne's character, going and
It's
proving that
go.
disability doesn't define you. It's your
Get it.
abilities, not your disabilities. Yeet.
Yes.
But he has been an excellent character to develop so quick. Obafemi is the ruler. He is the destroyer. I imagine he'll beat the shit out of Miles Bourne, but Miles will get a few moments where he almost wins the title. Stephanie and Jordan, damn. I mean, I predicted this as Jordan, but the more I think,
Come on, Kiki.
this is an interesting match. I think Jordan Grace beats
Okay.
Stephanie on tomorrow night's Battleground show. I think they want to bring the title to Jordan from Stephanie because they have plans with Stephanie Vacour going forward, but we'll see. I mean, it's a damn interesting time. We got Sol Ruka hating her render, taking on Kalani Jordan for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Sol Ruka is going to retain, but that's going to be a great match. We got Tony D.
I will probably
and
tune into your review without watching either of the shows because I don't know if I can do 3 at once because Mets and Dodgers again for the third and final game.
You got
series.
Mets and Dodgers
Hopefully
in the
Mets
final
take
in
the
their
series
series.
home and win.
Yeah, hopefully, because that's a lot to watch. 3 at once,
right now.
2 at once.
They should have won
All
yesterday, but they fucking blew it out of the water. Were given chance after chance. I know this isn't a baseball stream, but
But no, I feel bad. Your Mets, you guys were close last night, and then it came right down to the last inning, and you just couldn't capitalize. 3 runs against you, and that's all it took.
That's what Mets do to me,
Exactly. So I think the Mets will pull through tomorrow. I think you're going to be absolutely and excitedly enjoying the game.
And fuck the Braves.
Because not only will Sol Ruka's entire asshole be out, but Tony D'Angelo's taking on
Channing
Stacks. I don't know, Liz. I don't know. I'm just telling you. Tony D is taking on Stacks in a singles match. Does Tony D, the Don of NXT, defeat
if anyone's
the
saying
underboss?
Fuck the Braves, I think it's fake George accounts coming in. It's George, coming in and doing all this shit.
Yeah, everybody wants the Atlanta Braves to win, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants the Atlanta Braves to win,
Not me.
We also have Hank and Tank with Josh Briggs taking on the Culling, so Jensen, Vance, and Sean Spears with Izzy Dame, the big boot of hers in the corner. I still think the Culling's going to win. And then, of course, our main event, Joe Hendry defending his TNA championship.
You believe?
I do believe. And he's doing it in an NXT ring.
Do you think Trick?
I originally said it'd be crazy for Trick to win in the sense of like, wow, what an epic conclusion. Holy shit, a WWE guy gets a title.
But in a way. I don't know. Like I could just see so they can have the wrestling
going for shock
world
value, unless they want to make the wrestling world pop, I think they're going to keep it on Joe and only build up his character more and more, build up his stock, his value, his worth, and watch it skyrocket to the moon because that guy worth $1 million.
NXT can do a War Games themselves as well, do like TNA versus WWE kind of thing.
They absolutely could, and that would be interesting too. So, I mean, there's just a lot of possibilities up for grab right now, and it makes you wonder. We've had quite a few tonight of the possibilities of things to come. We saw Jey Uso defeat Logan Paul, but kind of get attacked by Cena. So does Cena cost him the title? That's interesting going forward, at least. It takes Logan out of title contention. We've got R-Truth saying we're going to riot if Cena wins. Well, Cena won. No one rioted, but
when he's the one facing
who do
him.
we get next against John Cena? I mean, that's a huge deal.
I say CM Punk.
CM Punk, Money in the Bank is probably the best.
See, this is why I said John Cena
but I don't know if I want it yet.
This is why John Cena would fit in Seth's group right now because the people he's going to be feuding with also feud with Seth's group.
Absolutely.
So that
And
can
do we
lead
really
into a
need
war
Cena
game.
taking on Punk at Money in the Bank just because they had their match at Money in the Bank? I don't feel like it calls for it. I think they could wait a few months and
I
really
mean,
build it
I
up to
think
something.
it would be a perfect place, honestly. But SummerSlam is also good because Money in the
Yeah.
Bank is, well, it's not happening now because
No, you're right.
tag team match.
Unfortunately,
But
it's not
so
occurring
I wonder what
and leaves us
CM Punk
wondering
does.
what, when, why, and how.
I think Cena versus Punk is next. I think that happens at SummerSlam.
Okay.
Then who do you got from there? People say Cena versus Roman, but to be honest, I'm not really interested in that.
No,
I
Cena
don't.
versus Roman.
I don't blame you entirely. No, that's certainly.
I'm trying to think of people like maybe McIntyre. I would like that.
That couldn't be the worst. McIntyre certainly has his
and people
critics.
are complaining that back to Cena and R-Truth. People are complaining this is a waste and this made no sense. Truth versus Cena. I'm like, what are you guys fucking talking about?
Yeah.
Truth has been like this for years now, going on TV saying John Cena's my childhood hero.
He's been all about John Cena, Cody.
He's
like literally
fan.
as much
He's
as you
an
could be.
on-street TV fan. So that's why I was saying tonight was like Cena versus the fans.
Yes.
Like,
you nailed it.
Like the representation of John Cena's fandom.
Yeah.
So
and then add
this made a
little bit on top of that, just a little bit of all the bullshit. Yeah, you nailed it. That's it, my friend. I mean, you certainly nailed it. Liz, what match are you looking forward to most tomorrow night between NXT Battleground and AEW Double or Nothing? What has you most excited?
Let's see. NXT, probably the women's match, both of them.
I can see that. No, that's a good answer. What about you, Cody? What are you most excited for tomorrow
I'm
between
gonna go with Liv
Battleground
for
and
the
Double or
NXT
Nothing?
one. With both those women's matches, I think that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
And the Olafemi, and I want to see if Trick Williams beats Joe Hendry. All that.
There's a lot on
makes me
Battleground,
excited.
so
the Double or Nothing match.
I'm more excited for
me,
Battleground than I'm more excited
the
for
Hangman and Ospreay match.
I think Hangman and Ospreay, and then probably Stephanie and Jordan, but maybe Oba and Miles. And that could be the second or the first, but pretty much those two, Hangman and as we said before, Stephanie or Oba, whichever champ wants to go ahead and take them on.
Probably Hangman and Ospreay, but
absolutely,
I'm more excited for Battleground overall. I believe. I don't know if Double or Nothing.
I think Battleground is going to be a ton of fun. I hope people don't sleep on it. I mean, there's just so much to go around with what they're trying to accomplish. I mean, how does
Shawn Michaels with that AEW? Not AEW. I don't know what I'm fucking talking about anymore.
Hey, it's all blurring together.
Shawn Michaels with NXT. I like his booking. Trust his PLE booking, and I think he's gonna put on a great.
Yeah, PLE I wonder how does Cody Rhodes get distracted from Cena if you want Punk to take on, obviously John Cena. And so how do we get Cody away from Cena if we want Punk and Cena to happen at Money in the Bank? I don't know. Maybe Cena
John Cena stuck in that Cody Rhodes vortex,
Well, Cody wants to go on ahead, but unfortunately, maybe he has to deal, since we had Jay and all the fallout there, maybe Cody has to deal with Logan. In the meantime, he takes out Logan, and that leads to Cena and Cody again, maybe? Because you figure Cody should have some claim to Cena at this point, some right with everything that's going on, but that's not what we've got.
Does Cody Rhodes just get a rematch? Because so I'm going to say this again. Shout out to Liv Morgan, by the way. Where the fuck is her rematch? Everyone seems to be getting a rematch nowadays for titles besides Liv Morgan.
Besides those that are truly earned it. Exactly, and are owed it.
Who had... Yeah.
I mean, we got very little televised wrestling tonight. I mean, it was like a 2-hour show, and I feel like there was 20 minutes of like actual wrestling, and everything else was just this. And that's a huge problem. Yeah. And I know it's a network show. I understand it's not on cable. You guys have Peacock. But Peacock is already charging for limited ads. and then you give us 5 matches, and each of them, the longest any one of them went was 10 minutes. Some were as short as 5. So what happened to the other hour you had planned? Even if we did all 5 matches at 10 minutes, what happened to the other hour and 10 minutes we were owed? And I know we see Lesnar with the long hair.
The only
Dirty
reason
Dom treated him out, saying who's ready
the
for
only
that
reason
music to
why
hit.
I caught Saturday night's main event tonight because I didn't realize this was YouTube TV.
I mean,
I had you could do like a double screen. So I had
Yes.
Saturday night's main event, on one side, and then the baseball game on the other. So
smart that you could do that, but Cody Rhodes tweeted out, "You've ruined enough. See you both at Money in the Bank at 10:10." It's like, okay.
See, they're talking about ruining things. This would have been perfect for Logan Paul to take the championship.
But instead, now we're getting Cody in a tag match, and it's Logan and Cena against Cody.
So you don't get any world title
and Jay.
Money in the Bank.
So now neither title gets defended, and then instead, it just feels like a waste to me. It feels that's a huge waste. I get they were going for Travis Scott, but
Selena and Alexa Bliss or something like that.
And even that,
versus,
I mean, they finally.
Lyra and
I was excited last night that they brought back the Wyatt 6. Obviously, I got the Wyatt tattoo here.
Wait, hold up. Wait,
yes.
What the heck is this?
But it felt like they did it just on Bray's birthday. Like, why have they not been back sooner? Why have they not, you just waited to do it on his birthday, and now you're like, oh, now they can do shit again. It is a little underwhelming. And Liz finding out some serious information. What do you got over there, Liz?
I'm looking at this preview for this Atlanta thing. Apparently, Atlanta's getting NXT's Great American Bash too.
Wow. Damn. That's crazy. You guys
in
really
July?
I still got big news to drop at the end of the show.
You do indeed, my friend. And I mean, when you go by everything, I mean, Money in the Bank lineup is now set pretty much. We'll get the Money in the Bank tag, the ladder matches.
We're still going to be speaking about pay-per-views and all being set. We're still going to be,
because we have Worlds Collide right before
early SummerSlam predictions.
Yeah, we're going to get those hopefully this weekend as well. And then obviously Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia. We have 2 more to be announced. But then on the men's side, we have Solo, LA Knight. We got 4 more men to be announced. And then we're getting John Cena and Logan Paul taking on Jay and Cody in a tag team match. So earlier that day, they're having Worlds Collide in Inglewood, California at the Kiem Forum. And then they're going to be doing this at the Intuit Dome in California later that same night on the 7th. So 2 big shows, same day, a lot of booking to be done. Makes me a little worried, but I'm not contemplating it being a disaster by any means. I just don't think it'll be a regular fan thing. You will be there for SmackDown. We've got Spaz in the house tonight, so he'll let us know tomorrow what he got recorded for upcoming tapings of TNA and what happened over there. You'll be live this Friday, Liz, on SmackDown to let us know what's going on in person. What is Cena saying? What's the plans for Money in the Bank? What are we getting going forward? And then Cody, of course, is all of us.
I guarantee we're going to have Cena, and then we're going to have Cody.
I'm everybody. So when you go to SmackDown, you're just going to be seeing me wrestle all night against myself and cutting promos.
Yeah, you're just going to be doing it over and over. And
according to George, right? Because George's words are gospel.
He knows. George just says,
I like it.
He tells you to shut the fuck up. I wouldn't do that, but I have been Jake DeMarco. You found me at Countdown Ended on YouTube. You can find me at Countdown Ended on Twitter, on Instagram, on Rumble. We've got Liz on Twitch. We've got her description in the info box down below. Cody, you can find at CodyOneedy316 on Instagram and at Judgment Day Air, on Twitter. All of that in the description box down below. But I know, Cody, you have some really amazingly big news tonight that you wanted to share. I know you said you had just a huge announcement, so let's get right into it. What do you got for us,
about the
friend?
WrestleMania thing?
Oh my God, about WrestleMania
42 in Vegas.
Yeah. We're gonna have what? You're saying now? You know for a fact that it's gonna be what?
We got The Rock,
Rock, The 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 Rock, Kevin Kelly, The Rock, 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 The Rock.